Welcome to Eco Me and Eco You, episode 12. Hi everyone, welcome back.
Hey guys, hope you've been having a good few weeks since we last had a chat.
Yeah. I was about to say, what have you been up to? But because we record two of these at once, it's like we've already had the same
we
conversation.
Can't. So every second week we talk about like how we've been in the last 2 weeks, like eco or sustainable wise.
Yeah.
And then the second podcast, we just have to not talk about it.
Yeah, it's more on the subject matter.
Wow, in the last 10 minutes between episodes, we talked about dish brushes.
Oh yeah, we did talk about dish brushes. And because I just got some, we got, what's the dish brush called that we got from you?
The dishy.
Yeah, dishy.
Dishy dish brush.
Dishy dish brush.
But then you got one of those coconut scrubs.
Oh yeah, that was one of the things I got for Christmas actually from my mother-in-law. It's really good. And it scrubs the pots really well.
That's cool. I actually really want to try those.
I don't think they're that expensive either.
No, they're not.
Which is good.
And they're compostable.
Which is great.
Yeah.
I'm going to put this over here. Yeah. And then also about my wedding dress. But
yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, that was about it.
Yeah, so this episode, we're kind of going to talk about gardening and composting, and Nick's going to talk about bee-friendly gardens and that kind of jazz.
Yeah, because we just thought since it's the summertime, people are often gardening quite a lot. Yeah. People have kind of already planted their stuff for things, but I think it's a good subject to talk about, especially because we're both looking into starting composting soon.
So we should probably kind of start off with like how composting is different to landfill, because I think from what I've read online and from conversations that I've had with people is that people just assume that things compost or biodegrade in landfill.
Yeah.
And it grinds my gears because it doesn't really work like that.
No.
And I'm not going to probably do it justice and explain this correctly, but the simplest way to explain it is that if you put in organic waste into landfill, it doesn't have the right oxygen kind of levels to aerate it to compost the way that it would in a compost bin, which means that it still contributes to greenhouse gases and global warming. Yeah. So the best thing to do with all your organic waste is to put it in a compost. Yeah. For it to compost the correct way. That is way more, obviously way more science to that, but that's the general gist of it. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, it does make sense. Basically, if you put your food waste and stuff into landfill when it can be composted, because you're not turning it or providing it any oxygen, it just gets compacted down upon layers. It doesn't have any place to basically breathe because it needs that oxygen to decompose. Yeah. That it's going to be there a lot longer than it normally would if you were composting it.
Yeah. And I guess you're also mixing it with other materials, right? So if you're putting it in a plastic bag and you're tying it up, you're literally not giving it any oxygen.
No.
You're starving it, and it's just
sitting there.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you can't reuse it.
No.
Like that's the other thing with compost is that you can then reuse that.
Yeah, it's very true.
Put it on your gardens, give your garden all this like beautiful nutrients, and then it will grow you vegetables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So now we talk about kind of how we compost.
Yeah.
Because composting for me was always the hardest thing to do. So for quite a long time, so I went plastic free, did low waste, but composting was kind of like the last thing that I did. Because we live in a one bedroom apartment with no outdoor space. Yeah. There was nothing that I could do in my house, and we had a incinerator. Yeah. So we were putting all our food waste in there for most of the time we lived where we are. And I kind of initially didn't feel too bad doing it because I knew that it got broken down and that part of the waste sewage system actually captured some of it and turned it into energy. I think in New Zealand, in Auckland, it's like 28% of it's like reused for energy,
Yeah, which is cool.
which is quite cool. And I know that, but then I did some more research and I found out that all the sludgy stuff that you put in there, like, because literally the only thing that should go into wastewater is water.
Yeah.
Nothing else, like not even like chemicals and all that sort of shit, like not even coffee grounds, like literally just water. And the only thing you should flush down your toilet is toilet paper.
Yeah.
So it's the only things that should go through our drain system. But the food waste and the food incinerator goes to those plants, and because it ends up being solid,
Yeah.
it gets taken out and put back into landfill.
Yeah. I
So
see. Okay, so it's
you
not
get
like
the problem, yeah.
yeah, it's still going into landfill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't go somewhere at the end.
No.
Like, do you know that? I didn't
No,
really know
I
that.
didn't realize that either until you just said it just now.
But I couldn't even tell you what I thought it did.
Oh. You just thought it's like, oh yeah,
I
it
just thought
just
it kind of like got mulched up into nothing,
yeah.
and then through the system, and it would go back into being more water, I guess. I don't know. So then I was like, okay, that's one thing that I really got to do. That was early last year, I think. I was like, this is one thing I've really got to change.
Yeah.
And the solution was actually really easy, and I was so annoyed that I didn't sort it out sooner.
Yeah.
So there is a group called Compost Collective, but I think they might have rechanged it to We Share Waste. I can't clarify that, but I'll link it in the show notes for you.
Yeah.
Don't let me forget to do that.
Okay.
So you register with them, and you be like, okay, I have waste compost that I want to give to people, and then you can find the areas that would take your composting or your food scraps.
Yeah.
So for me, I would store my food scraps in the compost in a bin in the freezer, which, by the way, breaks down. Your food breaks down as it freezes if you don't blanch it first, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, so leave a comment if that's incorrect.
Yeah.
My friend told me that the other week, and I was like, okay, I didn't know that. And then I take it up to the community garden on Wellesley Road in the city centre at the Griffiths Gardens. And they have a wee compost bin, and I give them to them. And it's good because it takes everything, the wee compost. So even if I occasionally get my compostable food packaging when I'm naughty and get hot chips from the guy down the road, I can take that there as well.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good. Well, you're going to be really disappointed in me because I don't compost.
I thought you have a compost bin.
No.
I know we talked
We
about
talked
you
about
getting
it.
a compost
Me
bin.
getting a
Okay,
compost bin.
Okay.
That's definitely something I want to do this year, is get a compost bin and start composting. So at the moment, our stuff just all goes into landfill. I know.
No
It's
comment.
so bad.
I think that is one of it's quite an easy solution, but it's one thing that's quite hard to get into if you don't already do it.
Yeah, because I wouldn't, like, my parents composted and stuff, but I wouldn't know the first thing
About it.
yeah.
Yeah. So the other great thing about We Compost is they do workshops. So we're moving into our first house,
Yeah.
and it has a balcony now, so we're going to start doing our own compost. And what I want to do is go do one of the Bokashi bin composting workshops. So maybe
I should come with you.
You should come with, and we can. I think they do one on general composting. So
Yeah.
maybe we should tee up one where we can go together and learn about composting.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. Yeah, because I definitely feel bad putting stuff in the landfill that I'm like, oh, I could put in the
Yeah.
compost.
Yeah, yeah.
Though I want to also figure out what you can put in compost and what you can't put in compost, because
Yeah.
obviously that determines about what's still going into landfill for me.
Yeah, so the wee compost bins that we use go into a commercial composting facility.
Yeah.
So that's like set at a really high temperature, and it's more of a chemical breakdown, I believe.
Yeah, so they're able to compost a lot more things,
A
right?
lot more
Yeah.
and a lot faster.
Yeah.
Where at home it's a bit different. And again, the workshops will actually kind of teach you what composting system you can use and how and what you can put in it. So like the Bokashi bins, I think you can pretty much put most things in.
Okay, that's good.
There's worm farms which you can't do, like citrus and meat. I think you can put some meat things in your home compost, like the normal sort of style where you just have a big bin.
Yeah.
But you get rodents and stuff that way.
Mm.
But yeah, it'd be really good for us to learn more about it, because that's quite a new. Because I just take mine somewhere and dump it,
Yeah.
and someone else looks after it. I don't really know like the process of it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And then maybe we can have like a catch up after we do it. We're like, right, guys, we found out so much more.
Absolutely, it would be really good for us to do that. Yeah, I can do it. I'll do a blog post about it.
Yeah, because I think because at the moment, in terms of gardening, I kind of just do upkeep at the moment.
Yeah.
Like in my front garden, I feel like it's not a very viable option to plant many things in it. That's why it has that climate. And then when I've been weeding, I've been transplanting succulents through it. So then eventually it should all just be succulents.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I'm like, maybe if I did composting and started adding stuff in there, it would help grow all the stuff that I want to grow in there a bit more.
That'd be cool. Because you've got quite a lot of space.
Yeah, I do have quite a lot of space. And then down there, it's mostly like flaxes and natural stuff already planted in, and it doesn't really need a lot of maintenance, which is good because it means it kind of just carries on doing its thing.
Yeah.
And because they've gotten so big now, I don't really need to weed in there because there's no space for weeds to grow.
Yeah, it's all like natural bush.
Yeah.
Kind
of, yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. I kind of like that natural sort of overgrown-y look.
Yeah, because it's funny, at my parents' house, the front part of it is where my mum does all of her gardening, and she does like English roses and kind of that kind of garden where it's like lots of flowers and roses, and it's very kind of seasonal as well. And then out the back, my dad has his garden where it's all like natural natives and stuff like that grow in the back, which is quite cool. Yeah.
That is cool.
And lots of driftwood. My dad likes to collect driftwood.
Cool, you should make a driftwood tree for Christmas.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I'm getting him to make my a driftwood altar for the wedding.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So
That's
I
really
hope we
cool.
were talking about over the New Year's break about how that would happen. But yeah, so that should be cool. But yeah, so it means that Mum has her section which she doesn't let any driftwood get past. And she's like, there's no driftwood in here. So all of Dad's driftwood.
Driftwood free zone.
Yeah, basically.
Love it. That's hilarious.
But yeah, so they're quite into gardening. And I'm kind of like, oh yeah, it's all right. But I'd like to get into it maybe a little bit more.
It's funny how like your parents, like what they do. So my mum like doesn't really do any gardening. She doesn't have a compost.
Oh yeah.
My dad loves his gardening. Doesn't have a compost, but loves his gardening. Like he has like this really cute little like Japanese garden.
Oh nice.
With like a big pot with like goldfish in it.
Oh really? That's cool.
My brother doesn't have that either. But my granddad, I think he has a compost. I might be wrong. But he does all the bonsais.
Oh, yeah.
He loves his bonsais. I'm totally want to get my hands on a couple.
Yeah.
Like hundreds and hundreds of bonsais.
Wow. He can probably give you something.
Yeah.
Quite
like,
easily.
you know, he was taking me through recently because I'm new to loving plants and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, this is 100 years old.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Very impressive.
So
Do your parents have compost?
yes, they
For
do.
gardening? For gardening specifically?
Yeah, for gardening. They've always kind of had one. So they kind of like put it on the garden, turn it. Though they have one that's kind of just like an open pit thing.
Yeah.
So they don't really put any meat or anything in there, partly because the dog DJ would get in and
true.
it's more like plant waste and stuff like that. Though I think, who was I talking to that was saying they were using compostable bags for their
Dog poo?
No, for their compost. And they said that it was decomposing like normal. I'm like, oh, okay, I suppose that's good then.
So they were putting their food scraps in compostable bags and then putting it in their compost.
Yeah.
Seems a bit long-winded, but Okay.
Yeah.
But it works.
Yeah,
Compostable
but the
bags
compostable
works.
bags worked, yeah.
That's cool.
They're like, yeah, they're breaking down normally. And I was saying, I'm like, oh, yeah, because sometimes compostable bags base their thing of, oh, it will decompose in this amount of time, but that's because it was tested in a treating plant.
Like
so
a commercial facility.
commercial.
Rather than home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because so obviously that's going to decompose a lot faster
Yeah.
than done at home. So usually, sometimes the bags will end up taking a lot longer. Yeah, but they said they were doing fine, so that's good.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and then my in-laws just started doing compost again because they just moved into a new place.
Yeah.
And Matt's dad likes doing, and Matt's mum like doing a bit of gardening, so they've got a compost bin now. So they've started doing that, which is cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So basically, everyone bar me is composting.
Okay, well, I think that we should set like a bit of a rule for you.
Yeah.
And oh no, but you want to do like a course first, right? I think that we're January. I think by the end of April,
Yeah.
you need to have a compost bin
Okay.
and be composting it up.
Yeah. I think that's an achievable goal.
Yeah, I was going to do a month earlier, but I thought I'd give you a little bit of leeway.
Yeah, a little bit of time would be good.
Because if we're going to do it together, then I need some time.
Yeah.
Because I don't move in for another month. So.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea.
Cool, done. You heard it here.
Yeah, I know.
No pressure.
Yeah, now that we've done it on the podcast,
You have to do
I
it.
have to do it.
It's set in stone.
Yeah, set in stone.
Yeah.
All right. Should
Cool.
we move on to gardening then? What else?
No,
were we talking
I think we should talk about bee-friendly gardens. So
Okay, bee-friendly
talk about
gardens.
your recent experience because I think this is really fascinating.
Yeah, so through the company I work with, last year there was the International Bee Day, and they had actually a beekeeper come in and talk to us about bees and how we can encourage bees to come into our gardens and actually having like a bee-friendly garden. So rather than having seasonal stuff that just flowers at one time, having stuff that flowers all through the summer season. So what the beekeeper was saying, she's like, usually through a season, I'll get like 3 different batches of honey because it's just when certain things are flowering. So I think at the beginning of the season, she said that she would get a lot of native bush and like native plants coming out. So she's like, I'll get like a native honey thing. So it's like a completely different type of honey. And then kind of when the flowers start, the not native like roses and all that kind of stuff start flowering, she'll get like a different kind of honey from that. And then she'll also get like the manuka, which flowers at, I think, a bit later. Yeah, or flowers at a different time, which was quite interesting. So she was basically saying that even trees and what you wouldn't normally think of as giving bees pollen actually gives them pollen. So it's just basically doing your research, and rather than picking at like, oh, I want all my stuff to flower in November, actually having stuff throughout the year that bees can actually get their pollen from. Yeah.
That's cool. I was doing some quick research this morning about bee-friendly gardens, and I read that they don't see the colour red.
No, they don't. So I think certain plants actually have, I don't remember, they have colour and pigments in their leaves that only bees can see. Yeah. So
That's fascinating.
they kind of, because obviously they want to be pollinated, is that they try to be as much of this pigment in their flowers as possible so that the bees are attracted and will come to them first kind of thing. Yeah. And try and encourage. Yeah, and they have like different, it was really interesting. I wish
That's
I'd
so cool.
remember all of it.
Yeah. So I think the Griffiths Gardens do bee workshops. So like how to like encourage bees to get in your garden and stuff.
Yeah, and there's also in Auckland and probably in different cities, you can actually rent beehives. Like which I think is awesome. And they also encourage you that if you want to own a beehive, that there's a society that you can join where there's other beekeepers that are a part of.
Yeah.
But basically, to rent a beehive, you have a beekeeper come over and kind of assess your property and see that you have enough space, and also they figure out, because I think bees can only travel so far, so they kind of check out the rest of the area and see kind of what's available for the bees, and then if it's all good, then you can have the beehive there in your garden, and basically the beekeeper comes in and does all the upkeep and looks after the bees, and what you get for payment is like some honey, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, so Jenna has a beehive.
Oh, really?
She's part of that.
Oh.
So but it's free. She doesn't pay anything.
No.
She just gets free honey. So basically the guy like gets free land space from her.
Yeah.
She has 3 hives. I
Oh,
think.
wow.
And it's in the front of her garden, so you don't really notice that it's there. It's like hidden in the bush.
Yeah.
And at the end of the season or every now and then she gets honey from it.
Yeah.
I had some the other day. It was real yum.
Yeah, fresh honey is delicious.
Yeah, that's quite cool.
Yeah, and then what they also actually say for bee-friendly gardens is to try not to use pesticides and so much with your garden. So it means that if you're putting that stuff on, it's not necessarily very good for the bees. So they say basically just making sure to be a bit more natural with how you're upkeeping your garden. So just making sure that you're using like compost or a nice fertilizer, and making sure that you're watering your plants enough, and then they shouldn't actually need those pesticides on them to keep them healthy.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's other like natural ways that you can, if you had a problem, that there's probably natural ways that you can try and kill off the bugs.
Oh yeah, I feel like there's most definitely. Because I feel like gardening's been around for so long that there's lots of tricks that you can use. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some. So the bokashi bins that we want to be using for our garden, they like end up with lots of liquid, and I'll be using that as fertilizer for all my plants. So we have like a 4.5 meter by 1.5 meter balcony space, and that will literally be overrun with plants. There'll be a small seating area and a barbecue, but the rest is going to be plants. So
I know, I can see that happening immediately.
Oh yeah. So one of the things like on this journey is really wanting to grow my own produce, because there's certain things that I can't get, or I find difficult to find package free. So like cherry tomatoes, beans,
strawberries, and then like your own herbs. So I can't find dry rosemary package free. That's weird.
Just like I can find all the other herbs but not rosemary, which I find very bizarre. So I want to get like a rosemary tree. And then I also want to mix it in with plants that the bees will like.
Yeah, so they can come visit.
Yeah.
No, that sounds awesome.
Very cool. How cool would it be to be like, yeah, I grew that?
Yeah. I feel like it's very satisfying.
Yeah. I think you'll be quite amazed at how much you can grow in, like, they call them container gardens, which is like all in pots and stuff. Yeah,
well, my mum and dad have like a little veggie thing, and it just, I guess you'll see it when you come later on in the year. It's just like a strip down the side of their house.
Yeah.
And they're just able to grow, like, I think they have beans and lettuce and like some tomatoes and other things that they can just grow in that small patch.
Yeah.
So no matter what the space, you can kind of, if you're using pots or something, there's definitely solutions to growing veggies in a small.
Yeah.
Even if it's like herbs or like cherry tomatoes are pretty easy.
Because I want to get a climber.
Yeah.
That goes up the wall.
Oh yeah,
So
that'll be cool.
We'll have to do a dinner, and it'll be like everything you're eating's out of my garden.
Yeah, that'll be
Just
awesome.
Just garden dinner.
Yeah.
Apparently courgettes are really easy to grow.
Yeah, my mum has been inundated with courgettes.
Well, if you need to pass them off.
Yeah. If she's got more, I'll grab some and try give them to you.
Cool.
Oh. You're right there.
Tummy's good.
Hungry.
Maybe. Okay. So, what else?
I don't know.
Did we talk about the bees enough?
I don't know.
Did we talk about the bees enough? We're only 25 minutes in.
Yeah, we like rushed through it.
Yeah. It was hard because we're not that clued up about it yet.
I know.
But it's something they're going to work on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about plants in general. So, like, I'm totally a plant mom.
Yeah. Don't you name all your plants?
Yeah, so I name all my plants. So my first plant was a fiddle fig.
Yeah.
And he is called Figgis. So there's a TV, like an adults kind of cartoon program called Archer.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yes, I have seen
It's quite crass, and people are probably, oh my gosh, you watch that. It's not for everyone's taste. And
Yeah.
I hated it when I first, Simon loved it, and I hated it. But it kind of grew on me, and I love it. So we called him Figgis after Cyril Figgis.
Yeah.
Which is really funny, but also Figgis because it's a fiddle fig.
Mm.
He's like my baby.
Yeah.
They take really long to grow. So I've had him like 3.5 years, and he's
Oh, wow.
almost tripled in size now, I think, which is actually really cool.
Yeah, it's very
He
impressive.
lost 2 leaves the other day, and I was real sad.
Oh,
I
no.
almost cried.
You're like, no, figures.
Yeah, and then we have Doug, who's the rubber tree,
Nice.
the rubber plant. They grow so fast. So when I move, I'm going to put them into bigger pots
Yeah.
and better drainage systems. So it's been fun, kind of like, getting new plants, working out what's easy to look after,
Yeah.
and learning how you can look after them better. So, like, I'm worried that Figgis is going to get root rot, so I need to replant him and have better drainage system at the bottom of the pot. Because we were in renting, I had to be careful that stuff didn't leak onto the carpet.
Yeah.
Or the carpet. And we have a little herb pot that my brother made me. So it's like old pallet sections of wood with recycled those pickle jars with
Oh,
the
yeah.
dimples on them.
Cool.
3 of those. I love it. My brother made it for me for Christmas last year. So cool. But I haven't really used it. He keeps telling me off. It's got basil in it at the moment.
Yeah.
We had coriander in it because we make a lot of Thai green curries. But that Simon just hacked it off and used the whole thing, and it just kind of died off. I'm like,
Well,
I
yeah.
didn't probably need to. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then I had a mint. Mint I find really hard to grow. It always dies off.
I find mint either grows like a weed or it doesn't. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I've had the same thing where I'll be like, oh, I'm like, sweet, there's a mint thing there, and it's just like a giant bush.
Yeah.
And then other times I've had it where I've tried to plant it in like little planters, and it's been like, no, thank you,
No.
I don't want to
I
be
think
here.
it needs a big pot.
Yeah,
And
I
it
think
just
so
needs
too.
to run rampant,
Yeah.
which is what I'll do. So mint's really nice in a salad.
I like
And a
mint in a salad.
mojito.
Yeah, and a mojito. They're good in drinks as well.
Yeah. But it just smells so good. Like, I just love the smell of it. And you can also use it to make your own tea.
Oh yeah, of course.
So you just put it in fresh.
Yeah. That'll be
I
good.
had thyme once as well. But I just couldn't seem to. I have killed a few plants actually. I've been so good. I don't do very well with succulents, which is weird because succulents are supposed to be like the easiest thing to grow.
Yeah, I find them pretty easy. Like I was just saying, it's just transplanting them in my
I
garden.
think it's
and
easy when they're in a garden,
Yeah, I think it's when they're in pots.
in a pot.
Yeah.
I managed to grow lots of them, but they grow really tall. I think it's the type of succulent that I have.
Yeah.
My cactuses are done all right.
Oh, yeah.
And then my castle cactus, I think it got sick and I just didn't do anything to save it, and it literally like rotted and fell over.
Oh.
I'm real sad because it cost me like $50.
Oh no.
It's my own fault. I should have looked after it. I'm like the houseplant hobbyist Facebook group, and I asked for help and they told me and I didn't do it.
Oh.
That kind of happened at the wrong time because I was leaving. So when I was away, so I have 15 plants.
That's impressive.
Roughly 15 plants. And I set up this self-watering system while I was away because we were away 2 weeks and I didn't have anyone to kind of look after it, which I actually would have. Jenna would have looked after it for me. So you fill up a pot of water and you get a bit of string from that, kind of have the pot slightly elevated and have it rolled down and tucked into the plant, which works really, really well. But I totally overwatered everything.
Oh.
I think I used too thick a string. I think you need to use quite thin string to just kind of slowly feed it. Because most of my plants, you only need to water like once a week.
Yeah.
Every 2 weeks. If you look after, and which is actually really good
Yeah.
for me.
That is really good.
Yeah. And one of my other favorite ones is oh my gosh, what's it called? It's a maidenhair fern.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like that really fine little kind of heart-shaped leaf.
Yeah.
They're really dainty. It's called Philly.
Mm.
It's like one of my favourite plants, but it does not like it in the cold months.
Oh, right.
So it will just like die off, and then just before summer, it just goes.
It's like,
And
hello.
then it gets too hot and it dies off.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't keep up with you. So it looks really lush,
Mm.
and then it just dies off.
Yeah. It's good that it comes back, though.
Yeah, well, she always has some green leaves, but some
Oh.
of them die underneath, and I always clip them off and put them in my compost bin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I have wenjan.
What?
So the snake plants, which are also called a mother-in-law's tongue.
Oh, yeah.
So wenjan is a combination of my mum and Simon's mum.
That's funny.
It's a really stupid name,
Yeah.
but it's kind of funny. It couldn't just be one of them. So
No.
it had to be a combo.
Both, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I don't really have any potted plants inside, partly because Matt gets really bad allergies to nature
really?
that I'm worried.
Nature.
Nature just he doesn't enjoy. They don't go well together. So I'm worried about getting any plants in, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
just somehow torturing Matt for bringing plants into the house.
There's got to be something.
Yeah,
You
I
can
think so.
Google.
I think it's more like flowers and stuff. So maybe if I just get plants, like I used to have, is it like a Japanese peace lily where
Oh,
they
yeah.
have like, they're quite easy. I had but then it died.
You got to water
Sad.
those quite
Yeah,
regularly.
you do.
And I think they like filtered water.
Oh,
But I have one of those as well.
it's very fussy.
It's called Lily. So original.
So yeah, maybe I'll start bringing some stuff in.
Yeah. You should try some cactuses.
Oh yeah, cactuses is a good idea.
It'll be super easy.
Yeah,
It's very you, I think, a cactus.
a cactus. What are you trying to say?
No, but they're like...
They're like edgy.
They're edgy. They're very spiky.
They're very spiky. Yeah,
Yeah, whenever
they don't
hug
want
you,
anyone to touch.
Your earring always
I don't-
stabs me in
I
the
don't
face.
have those
You don't
earrings
have
on
them in today.
anymore.
I didn't get stabbed
Yeah.
today, so... I normally hug you like this
Yeah.
with my head out.
Oh,
But no, they're just like, they're quite cool. I love a cactus.
Yeah.
And they're really easy to look after, and some of them, they don't all flower.
no, that might be a good idea actually. Yeah, I got a cactus ages ago from my friends in high school, and they got it to me, and it was in a gift bag, and they didn't tell me what it was, and I went in and grabbed it like this.
No.
I think they did it on purpose to prank me.
Oh, that's really
So it was
funny.
funny, but it
hurts.
also hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you on that one.
No.
The one we have in the kitchen,
Mm.
it's like a little dumpy one. It's got really long. They're about yay long, maybe like an inch long.
Long
It's quite
spikes.
small, but the spike's like an inch long. They hurt. They are very sharp
Yeah.
if you touch that.
Do you also accidentally touch it because you're in the kitchen?
No, because it's kind of like in the corner
Yeah.
with like the salt and the butter dish. So it's kind of like tucked in.
Oh, okay.
So I
Yeah.
never really touch it,
Mm.
which is good. And I never water it either.
No, it
Super
doesn't really
robust.
need. That's why I think succulents don't really need water.
Maybe I overwater mine.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Look dry.
I think that's their general look, though, isn't it?
No, but the soil looks real dry.
Oh yeah, but you should see the garden out there.
Oh, yeah.
It's like really dry. That's why I think nothing would live in there apart
Yeah.
from that damn climber. I don't know what that is. It's got like red leaves.
Oh, have a look at it.
It like grows. I have to like cut it back every time I weed. I haven't weeded the garden in a while though, to be fair.
Yeah.
But it's like started growing over onto the road, onto the driveway. I'm like, I really
Oh,
need
dear.
to cut that back.
Yeah.
I think it's just had like a tiny bit of water, and then it's just going like,
Yeah.
let's go.
Oh.
Control the garden.
Control the garden.
Right.
We got town and city gardens.
What's that?
I don't know. You wrote it down on the podcast subject list.
Oh, I was just thinking because obviously there's people in the city like you.
Community gardens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you can go in
Mm.
and grow some gardens. I think sometimes though you have to pay a
Yeah, you probably have to pay a subscription. I haven't looked at it,
yeah.
but there are a few around. So if you don't have space for a garden, there'll be community garden spaces that you can contribute to.
Yeah.
I think they're quite cool.
Yeah, I think they're quite cool too.
I think there's actually, that I know of off the top of my head, I think there's at least 4
Oh yeah,
in the city.
there's quite a few.
Yeah. There's one in
That's literally a
Parnell,
few.
Ponsonby, the top of like corner of Simon Street and Mount Eden Road, and then there's the one in Griffiths Gardens.
Mm.
But I don't know. I think there's also the community fridge there,
Oh yeah,
which is really cool.
that is really cool.
Yeah.
That's where people can go in and get food, if
Yeah.
they need it.
But there's loads of areas that have like edible gardens. So remember in Smells Farm,
Yeah.
we walked past and they had the thing that was like coriander and
Mm.
all of that. I think it was quite good.
Yeah,
Quite cool.
I think it is quite cool because then it's like if you don't have it, then you just go and pick it.
Yeah. I feel bad picking it because like, I don't know, I feel like for those that need it more should have it rather
That's
than me.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. That's good. But then, yeah, so it's like even if you are in like apartment like you're a good example that you can just still have plants, not necessarily like a veggie garden going on.
You still can grow veggies
Mm.
in your house. You just have to do some research on what you can grow. So we did have a chili tree
Mm.
or 2 chili trees at some point, but Simon neglected them
Oh,
and they died, and then I had to deal with it. But
what a bad garden
I know.
person.
I said no, we're not having chili trees because you're not going to look after it. And what happened? Didn't look after it.
Yeah, so there's even if you're in like a small place or even in a rental, say, and you can't change a lot of
Yeah.
things, you can still have like lots of potted plants and stuff.
Like you can totally grow lettuce.
Yeah. Oh
So-
yeah.
So there's like, you'll see it, like using like food scraps to grow plants. So like if you got like a lettuce, chop off the nubby bit, same with celeries, and plant it and it will just re-sprout.
Oh yeah. That's really cool.
And I think with a tomato you can just break up a tomato, shove it in the soil and just grow tomatoes.
Yeah. That's cool.
I think there's like, I've seen a little bit of a movement happening where we shouldn't have to go out and pay all this money to like buy plants and stuff. We should be like, cultivating and cuttings and stuff,
Yeah.
which I think is fair. There's, oh my gosh, Zero Plant is out in QMU. I found them and they're like, it's basically like an op shop for plants.
Really? That's
Yeah.
so cool.
But like, if you had a plant that you didn't want anymore or it was dying and you're like, I can't do this, you like take
Yeah.
it to them and they'll like nurse it back to health and propagate it or cultivate it, whatever you call it, and like make more plants out of it and like sell it on to for a cheaper price.
That's awesome.
We should totally do a mish.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'm keen.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. There's like loads of research out there as well that tells you that plants are actually like really good for your mental health, and that there's certain plants that clean the air, filter the air for you. So I
Yeah.
really want to get like an aloe vera plant for the bedroom, and like the snake plants as well. They really good to have in your bedroom. They clear out oxygen.
Oh, nice. To look at those as well
clean
then.
oxygen.
Nice. I think
It's fun.
that's about it.
Yeah, I think that's it
All
for
right.
today.
Where can people find you, Krystal?
Cool. So you can find me over on the Eco Society, either on Instagram, Facebook, or on our website. Everything is in the show notes below or above, depending on where you're looking.
Yeah.
And how about you, Nick?
You can find me on Instagram at _Nick_Nick. And you can also find both of us we have a Facebook group for this podcast. It's EcoMe and EcoYou with a plus instead of the actual word. Come and join us on there. And then we also have a website. Oh, not a
An
website,
email.
sorry. An email. And that's EcoYou and EcoMe@gmail.com. So yeah, let us know any feedback or if you want to share anything about your journey. Yeah, just let us know. Or you want us to discuss something, we're more than happy. Or if you have any feedback or anything we missed on previous episodes, because that's always good to hear as well.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
All right.
We'll talk
Thanks,
to you again
guys.
soon.
See you later.
Ciao.
Bye.